All right, Jeff Carroll here, Sci-Fi Express Lane. What else? Writer, comic book dude, filmmaker, just overall sci-fi guy with an opinion. And black guy, let me just say that. If you can't see, then I'm black. I've been talking on social media more so than anywhere. Like, where I live is very diverse. I don't run into any right-wing people, let me just say that. I know Florida is a mixed up state, but the south part of Florida, we don't really have that. You know, there are people that are conservative, but they're not so, butthurt with, I guess, racism overtly. Maybe they go into their own pockets, but they don't come out their mouth sideways. So what's been happening on social media is there's been this big attack on Star Wars because of the acolyte, because of the director being a female, because of the powerful presence of women in the series. And probably it started with Ahsoka, being who she was, and there was witches in there, but it just seemed like it's more here, and it gets a little convoluted. So today I really want to talk about the pros and cons of having an expanded universe. All right, because I think outside of the right-wing elements of the reaction and the sensitivity of white men in seeing strong females, and probably even females of color, right? That doesn't help. Those things are real, right? But I think that they are more so the casualty of an expanded universe. All right, so I say that because in the same week I'm watching Amanda Seinfeld kick butt on The Acolyte. One network over on Netflix, I'm seeing Jessica Alba, the one that played Sue Storm in the Fantastic Four franchise. I'm seeing her, and forget the name of the movie, but I'm seeing her kick butt in a new movie on Netflix, and she is, a beautiful thing. She's playing a Mexicana senorita, and she happens to be Latina or Hispanic, right? However they say it. And she's playing that character, right? And it's sort of like Zoe Saldana playing in Colombiana. And she's kicking men's butts all up and down, regular fighting. And I hear in the back of my head that I somehow imagine that, there's some white guy saying, oh, this is a woke agenda story. And I say that because having debated guys online, they say woke like it's something negative. And I understand to some people it may be woke. Maybe negative, because we are in a battle for imagery, right? We're in a battle for inclusion, and it's going to ruffle people's feathers because we didn't have inclusion because some people didn't want to have inclusion. It wasn't an accident that we didn't have inclusion. They didn't want inclusion, and now they're fighting to not have it. Okay, so that's real too. This world, America, wasn't founded by accident. The way it wasn't Jim Crow by accident. There was integration and liberation for about 40 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, and then Jim Crow started in the 1900s. So that's American history. It didn't just happen. people made it happen. And I say that because if you don't know your history, they like to say you're doomed to repeat it. But how are you going to repeat it? Because you don't know how the last time it happened. It's like a basketball game. It's like any game. If you don't know what happened in the first quarter, you're in the fourth quarter, they could run the same play again. And so that's what's happening, right? So when it comes to demonizing woke, right? Woke is this beautiful concept of not being asleep and being aware of everything that's going on, being aware of the game that the government or the white power structure who created the government is still doing to maintain the oppression of women and people of color. For instance, women did not ask to get the vote. They had to fight and protest to get a vote. They were there. They were intelligent. These people had women teachers. There were women smart people long before they had the right to vote. But the powers that be, the white male power structure, did not want to concede that. Sure, black people had to do the same thing, but we understand. We always talk about slavery. But we don't always talk about the oppression of women that they experience right here in this country. We don't have to go globally, but just deal with this country, right? So when we talk about woke, yeah, the women have embraced this concept of being awake and being conscious as well. Remember, Samuel Jackson said in Spike Lee's movie, Do the Right Thing, wake up! Because it was dealing with the racial undertones in the movie, right? So that's what woke means, right? But they use it because they feel that these doggone liberals are going too far. Look what they gave. This woman is wielding the force. These are witches that, witches is already a derogatory term. But these witches are taking down the Jedi. You know what I'm saying? How dare they create something that is stronger than the Jedi? And it's feminine? How dare they? So these liberals have gone too far. That's the things that they say. And they have videos, right? I'm not quoting anybody, but if you Google like the acolyte, backlash, just that 2 words, acolyte backlash, and go to the videos, you'll see them attacking the director. She's on some woke agenda. They're going to oppress her. What do you mean? They're going to oppress us. They're going to oppress you all because they have diversity and because it's a superhero woman. We've been dealing, and I say we, everybody that's not a white male, been dealing with super white males since the beginning of film. Since, intensified in the 70s, but white men have been going, look at James Bond, going all around the world and beating up people. You know what I'm saying? At least Arnold Schwarzenegger is strong, but some of the times they look, Charles Bronson, what's his name? Make My Day, Clint Eastwood. These guys weren't even big white people. And they going through punking people that have no tolerance for life or death. You understand what I'm saying? They putting guns to gang members' heads. They're putting guns to black police. They punking whole cities. And we've accepted this as acceptable. I'm going to even say there's women and men that like these, and black men that actually like these stories. You understand what I'm saying? That's how tolerant we've begun. But we know that's not realistic. It's not realistic. Some of the things we've seen white men do in movies. Just take this Star Wars example, right? They talk about, this is unrealistic for a woman. Do you know who Palpatine is? Palpatine is a old white man who is supposed to be the strongest Sith Lord, Force user in the universe. And he's beating everybody up. And he's old. He looked like he needs a walker. We've accepted that because Jedi use the Force and it's the power of the mind. They got a little frog man, Yoda, and I love it. I'm just telling you how it is. A little frog man that can beat all the humans. What? Taking kicks, delivering punches, he actually uses a cane. But then when it comes to a woman, oh no, it's a problem. There's no way a woman can be that powerful. Come on, guys. So that's my problem in one. That's my outline of the problem. Now, why do I think it really occurred? I blame the expanded universe. I think when it comes to Star Wars and in general, right? Stories have no beginning and no end in reality, right? You have to find, when you're telling a story, you have to create when you're going to start the story. Even though the world has existed before the story, you still have to start the story somewhere. And that's beautiful, but the world has existed before your story, and unless you tell the end of the world story, there'll be a world after your story as well. So whatever story you tell is a window in that. And since that window exists, when you have something like Star Wars, it becomes never ending. How many stories and how many characters. And Star Wars takes place in the universe, not on Earth where there's a limited amount of continents, where there's all the known people are known, all the known spaces are known. You have to probably go under the water to create something new, not to mention all of the guiding forces are already outlined. So you're not, the variations on Earth are less than the variations in space. Space is practically infinitesimal. So you can have Ewoks that they have their own language, little fur. You can have giant Bigfoots have their own language, have their own planet. You can't do that on an earthly story. So you can have the Force, you can have century-old, millennia-old civilizations. It's infinite. The playground in space for a science fiction writer is infinite and is beautiful. So that's what we want. However, the backside of that is, because you have no limits, it's limitless. And writers are going to think of everything they can think of. And, Star Wars has had an encyclopedia that explained all of the different people, planets. They've had maps, but it's infinite. So they create the old republic, the later kingdom, a side kingdom. I'm watching Ahsoka. They go through almost like a wormhole. There's the blue guy. Can't remember his name. Not Zod, but I can't remember the blue guy. Sheesh. The Heir of the Empire. I know the book and everything. But he lives so far out in the universe, they don't even know the people that are in the regular Star Wars universe, because the universe is oh gosh, I'm looking for words. It's infinite in size. So that's part of it. So I think because it's infinite, because everything is possible, they think of everything. And there's certain things that are going to piss people off. However, that's the beauty of it. And I blame the expanded universe. So whether it's video games, whether it is books, which probably started off the expanded universe, comic books, or the animated series, there's so much going on. And I don't know anybody that can keep up with it, because Star Wars can barely keep up with all of the stuff that they have. I love The Force Unleashed. That game story is amazing, but then I read it in a book, so the book is amazing. The literary universe is amazing. It has some beautiful stuff. I'm reading comic books, and there's some beautiful things in there. And then when you go to the television series that, the Acolyte and all that, they have all of that to pull from to use into their stories. So it's just too much. And that's what I blame. So anyway, you can tell me why. I went a lot, and I said I was going to do a part 2 to this. And so, the Acolyte backlash is now, in my opinion, of course, is intolerant white men that's doing it. But I think the expanded universe of Star Wars is kind of the reason. So like, subscribe, share, and comment. This is Jeff Carroll, Sci-Fi Express Lane. I'm out.